Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so we're going to do our March predictions based on what the sky looks like on March the 1st. So, this is for the whole month of March. This is the energies coming into March. And yes, we do have some big things happening in March. We have the spring equinox, and that's actually the beginning of the new year. But that'll be another video. What I want to show you right now are some of the energies that are swirling around on Earth. This is based on tropical astrology because tropical astrology, the tarot and the tropical astrology holds hands. It doesn't work as well with the sidereal astrology, but that makes sense because the tarot and tropical astrology are more or less European based. Let's just put it that way. And also, from my knowledge, tropical is what is actually happening here down on Earth, whereas sidereal is more your subconscious type of leaning, more personal. In that, just a basic opinion. Don't at me if you're professional. I am going to do a disclaimer. I am no way or shape or form any kind of astrologer, but I do know tarot, and I do know how astrology matches up with tarot, the tropical astrology. All right, so without further ado, let's get the general energies of the Piscean time we are in right now. And we are in a very special Piscean time because Neptune and Saturn met early in Aries, and Aries at 0 point is the beginning of a whole new kind of era. And that was on the 20th of February, which was in Pisces time. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it wraps things up. So we are wrapping up a lot of things right now because once spring comes and we are fully in Aries season, watch out. All right, and some things are already starting to happen. All right, so let's get at it. The general energies, we are in the last sign of winter, and swords rule winter. So we have an ace of swords here, and this is truth coming out. And look at all the people who are falling because of the Jeffrey Epstein. All the truth that is still coming out. This is a very strong sword year, sword winter we are having. Um, be interesting to see because once we go into spring, we go into cups. And right now, we are in cups. Ace of Cups rules Pisces because Pisces is a water sign. And air and water do not get along at all. They're very, like, it's not like water and earth where you mix, or air and fire that feed each other or warm each other. uh, Air and water do not get along at all. And in fact, air, when it's trapped in water, it tries to get out, like you think bubbling water. And when water's trapped in air, it tries to get out. You think of rain, right? They do not like being in each other's company. So that's a little bit of energy we're dealing with right now. So if things really feel black and white right now, that's probably why we've got these two elements. We got the winter element, and then we have the water element of Pisces coming in and trying to take control, take charge. Because when spring comes, spring is water. Cups are spring, so it's trying to get control right now. So this is where we're seeing a lot of snow. Think air and water, well, cold air and water. Look at the record snowfalls we're having all over the place. And you think air and water, winds, hurricanes. I know we aren't having any hurricanes, but winds that bring rain and whatnot. And so that's why that's all going on. All right. All right. And remember, think of this: April showers, right? Here comes the water for springtime. April showers bring May flowers. Anyways, that's where we are. The court card for Pisces is the Knight of Cups. And one of the things you have to be worried about with the Knight of Cups is they come in your knight in shining armor, but they can ghost you just as fast and take away what they offered. to you. That's one, and you think Pisces is the fish, so they have a dual personality, much like Gemini. The Page of Cups, and you can always remember Page of Cups, Pisces, there's the fish. There's the fish. Surprising good news. The Page of Cups is a female. All right, so the decans of Pisces are 8, 9, and 10 of Cups. And you think about it, it's joyful. By the time you get to the end of the year, so the end of the Piscean year, so you think of it this way, you start to walk away from the previous year, right? So we're walking away from, again, going with that March 21st. The first day of Aries is the new year. So first thing we want to do is wrap up the previous year. We want to start walking away from the previous year and letting it go. Interesting. Look at, there's an eclipse. And we have an eclipse, and we have an eclipse. There's the Pisces card, and we have an eclipse in Pisces on March 3rd. So first thing is starting to wrap up and walk away from the previous year. And you do this by seeing what you have left in your larder. And, you start to count things up. How did I do last year? Was it a good year? Did I save some money? Did I make any kind of gains? That's, things that you want to do when you wrap up at the end of the year. And then hopefully with the 10 of Cups here, everything went really well for you in the previous year. You managed to do everything you wanted. You have a lot of joy. You can pack away the year because remember, 10s are endings. So we wrap up that previous year. Hopefully it is with all the people that we love, and everything's going well. And we made some gains and we're really happy, right? Because we know we're starting fresh, brand new year. With Aries, and interesting with Aries, the first decan is the Two of Wands. So you've wrapped up your year, and here you are in Pisces. You're walking away from the previous year. You're counting your gains and losses, and hopefully it's you're celebrating. And then you start with the Two of Wands again, and now you're planning for the next year. What are you going to do this year? You got the whole world in your hand. The world is open to you. What are you doing with it? So it's interesting how the tarot echoes that. All right, so let's see what the major arcana are telling us for predictions. Now that we know the energy that we're in, we're to be wrapping up things, we're to be looking and what would we change, what would we walk away from, what are we happy about, and different, and just as you would wrap up the end of a calendar year. So now we are in Pisces, and Pisces is the moon card. And again, we're going to go back to Pisces is dual in nature. That's why they're the fish that are swimming towards each other. And Pisces either can be, they're not, sometimes Pisces can be really underhanded. I'm just going to say it. They can be quite the liars. I mean, they're very soft and gentle. There's so many positive aspects to Pisces, but they're very cyclical. I think if you look back and look at your friends, it's amazing how many Pisceans have mental health issues. And nothing wrong with that. It's just because they're constantly cycling. They're really attuned to the moon. Even though um, Cancer is the moon. Pisces is Neptune and Jupiter. And those two planets are completely different. Jupiter expands and Neptune dissolves. So you'll find a lot of Pisces people cycle. And one of the things they cycle with too is money. I know Pisces that are extremely wealthy and some Pisces that are struggling day to day. They can barely make it. And they'll cycle through that. And that's one of the things of Pisces. So the moon, and what do we know about the moon? The moon is very veiled. It's an illusion. And here, interesting, look at this, the eclipse that is going on. This is actually the sun behind the moon here. And look at this look on this moon. This isn't a happy moon. Again, let's go back to Pisces. They can give the illusion that they're fine, and underneath they are inside. They're they can't make it. They're collapsing, but they'll never show you that face. Sometimes they'll show you their dreamy face, that everything is peace and love and harmony. But inside is a completely different story. So we've got the moon energy, and the sun is in the moon, is in the moon. The sun is in the moon. The sun is in Pisces right now. So the sun is trying to break through. And you think about it, that the sun is growing day by day by day, right? So the sun is trying to break through. The sun is trying to break out of that moon, and is really, the growth of the sun is really big right now. Once we get to the the equinox, the sun is actually starts to grow even faster, and our nights start to become long or shorter. So the sun, and here's what's interesting: we have Mercury retrograde right now in Venus. In Venus. Okay. Brain, come online. Mercury is in retrograde right now in Pisces. So look at this. We've got the veiled, we've got the illusion, and we've got the sun, and we've got Mercury retrograde. The sun is trying to show us where the falseness and the lying and the trickster energy is. The sun is trying to put a spotlight on because the magician in reverse is the trickster energy. It's the liar. It's somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. You cannot believe a magician in reverse. They're the trickster. They're Loki. And we also have Venus in Pisces. So, and this is telling me that people who are in high positions, you know who I'm looking at when I see this is Hillary Clinton, sitting there lying with her blonde hair, lying through her teeth. The illusion that she's never known Jeffrey Epstein, but the sun is trying to put a spotlight on that. The sun is trying to highlight that. So right now, the trickster energy is with people in high places. The sun is really trying to get a spotlight on that, about people who are lying to us, people putting the veil over us. Also, this is showing me that we are going to see some very luxurious brands. We're going to start to see something about them. Perhaps we're going to find out Rolexes are made in China. Perhaps we're going to find out that Louis Vuitton is all made by Chinese people making $1 an hour, right? So because we're going to learn about the trickster energy of the luxury market. Perhaps we're going to see like wine has some kind of toxology in it, that, maybe a bunch of wine is recalled. It's gone bad or something. The sun wants to bring out this trickster energy. Anything to do with Venus, anything luxurious, are stars. Actually, one that came out today, and it's not even the 1st of March, but these energies are starting to form. As I've told you many times, energies are a sunset and a sunrise. They are not like black and white. Jim Carrey, where's Jim Carrey, who's a worldwide star? He was in France this also could be Europe, right? This is the European lady, the Europe. Have you ever seen Europa? She looks exactly like this. He's in Paris getting an award, and it is not John Kerry. So there's the trickster energy, and the sun is putting the spotlight on that, because they were interviewing this man who looks like Jim Carrey. People are saying it's his body double in his movies and whatnot, but it is not Jim Carrey. He does not have Jim Carrey's mannerisms. He does not have Jim Carrey's voice, and he does not have Jim Carrey's eye color. So the sun is putting that spotlight that we've been lied to, and there's some kind of veil, some kind of mask. So watch for the masks to fall off of people, especially people in high regards, especially people of European descent. All right. So normally that means Caucasian. I'm not going to get into that right now. But people from, whether you live in America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Africa, people of European descent, we're going to see a lot of them. The parts that they've been lying to us are going to be exposed. We're going to see a lot of stars in a brand new light. We're going to see a lot of luxury goods in a brand new light. I just saw a report that alcohol sales are down dramatically. So, are we now seeing the trickster energy of alcohol? Venus rules alcohol, rules grapes and wine. So, is a spotlight going to be on that? The damage that alcohol has done to us, the trickster part of it. Every day now you hear people quitting drinking, or you get an app on Instagram about quitting drinking, or because the spotlight is coming on that. The veil is dropping. The sun is coming out from under the moon, and we are definitely going to see a lot of that trickster energy. Now, if the Mercury was upright, I would say the sun is going to show us how we too can manufacture some of that, how we can manifest beautiful luxury and everything. But the trickster is in the reverse. So I'm not telling you what to do. I never do on my channel. But I'm telling you something I'm not doing. I'm not investing in anything luxurious. And in fact, I'm not investing until this magician turns right side up. Because right now it's trickster energy. So that could be investing in anything. People are trying to sell you to invest with them. And I right now wouldn't believe anything. And I think a lot, we might even see a Ponzi scheme exposed during this time. During this time. All right. And it's interesting, the Mercury retrograde goes right until March the 20th. So the whole Piscean time, we are going to see this. So investing, just remember, it's anything luxurious, any kind of celebrities, they're going to be exposed for their lying, for the veil will be lifting. The sun will be burning off that fog, and the tricksters will be revealed. And it's really not going to be pretty for a lot of people. All right. So that's my predictions while we're in Pisces. But let's continue because we are also in March. Now, the planets that are in Aries are Neptune and Saturn. Now, this is interesting because all of these move into Aries in Aries time, and watch out. I've already done a video on that, and that would be it's called my April 17th. Very interesting time. So anyways, here what we have. We have leadership. We have leaders, and we have the Hanged Man, and we have the World. We are going to see leaders in a whole new different way. And a lot of them are all fall down, not as bad as the Tower, but we've seen so many resignations because the World, they're done. They're going to be hung out to dry, and they're going to be done. And this is when I'm soon in April, we are actually going to see Mars come into Aries. So it's going to be leaders with the Tower, Hanged Man, and the World. You tell me what that means. I'm going to say, and I have been saying this for a while, we're going to see the end of a lot of leaders, whether they are put in jail, whether they actually end their life, or just resign. And I think just hang in there. Those files, remember, things that are being exposed right now, the veil is lifting on people who we put on pedestals, on luxurious things. All those billionaires have luxurious things. There, we are starting to see the light, but April is when we're really going to see things starting to come down. And a lot of leaders we're going to see them in a whole new light, and they will be ending, they will be resigning, one way or another. One way or another. Some may even go to prison. Look at that. If you're a hanged man and you're locked inside, leaders. Uh, um, so watch out for that. That energy is right now because these planets are in Aries right now. So Uranus is the Fool is in the Hierophant. And again, I think we may see some leaders, some gurus, not necessarily world leaders or, um, uh, kings and presidents, but we have now seen the president of Harvard has quit. He's moved on. So these people are not going to jail, but you have to remember the Hierophant, it rules teachers as well. So watch for universities, watch for people even starting to not think that they want to go to university or college. But we're going to see people who are secondary leaders, like they're CEOs perhaps of not great big conglomerates, but they're definitely teachers, or we may even see some people we call gurus. Look at what's his name? What's his name? I can see him, and he's an East Indian man. He's an Indian man, and he's in the Jeffrey Epstein files. There he is. Done. Move on. And this energy has been with us for a while, but this energy is going to continue in March. Again, I have said we may see the Pope move on. This is moving on to something else. Off you go. So the Hierophant is teachers, gurus, people that are in high positions, but not necessarily presidents or kings. All right. So there is nothing in Gemini, nothing in Virgo, nothing in Libra, nothing in Scorpio, nothing in Sagittarius, and nothing in Capricorn. So those are out of play. So the next one we have is Cancer, and that's the Chariot. That's the military action. And we have Jupiter in Cancer. Again, a lot of people are saying there's going to be World War III. I'm saying there isn't, because Jupiter is generally peace. And if you look, there's books here, so you learn from your mistakes. Now, could there be an expansion about the talk of war? Absolutely. The moon was just in Cancer. And so there could have been secrets and things that are going on, secret talks and whatnot, but the moon has moved on into Leo, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to say that generally Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune in military means that there won't be a war. Like if there was Mars in Cancer, or that even Pluto, even the sun sometimes can, put the spotlight on war kind of thing. But Jupiter is more, the Wheel of Fortune is, I feel it's turning in our favor. And if you notice, he's in cement. So he made, you think it's all building up there, and there's all kinds of war drums being banged, and sometimes that's just a show to scare somebody else. The other team, Iran, has actually put out a video and said they want Trump's head, basically, and that doesn't really bode well for peace talks. Either war is going to expand, because Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune, expands things, and Jupiter expands. Jupiter can expand your waistline, it can expand your debt, It can expand your children. It can expand your bank account. It expands everything. It doesn't care what it is. So either the Wheel of Fortune comes in and we are fortunate that there is no war, or it comes in and it expands war. Because remember, this too shall pass. Works both ways, good times and bad. But I'm going to say that we have learned from the past, and also you think about these are all peace treaties, right? The paper here. Um, I'm gonna still stand by there will be no World War III while Jupiter is in Cancer. All right. Now, Leo, the moon is temporary in Leo. Soon it will move into Virgo. And I'm not sure if the moon is really doesn't mind being here, because you look at the high priestess is secrets, keeping secrets, and this is strength, closing the mouth. So this is telling me, I think these two women get along quite well. One's virginal, the high priestess is, while a woman who's never had children, also single. So two single women, both trying to keep secrets. So I'm going to say that this is trying, they're really trying hard to keep a lot of secrets. So they're trying their best to keep secrets about different things, even though we are going to have exposure about celebrities. This may be secrets about the royal family. Um, keeping, who's sick, who isn't, who's in, who's out, trying to tame the royal family, possibly with contracts. All right, because this is the royal family. A lion is always the royal family. And this is also called force. So, forcing things, possibly forcing the media when it comes to the royal family. So, secrets there. The last planets we have is Judgment, which is Pluto, and Mars. Mars in Aquarius. So let's look at this. And Mars will soon be leaving Aquarius. It's about 28 degrees, so it will soon be leaving Aquarius and off to Pisces. And so then that to me it screams false flags. Anyways, let's see what it is here in Aquarius. Now, Mars, along with Pluto, in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the world, humanity, people, Earth, and I'm like a lot of people are getting wake up calls right now. Pluto is regenerative. Um, right? Here's the second chances. Pluto gives you second chances. But interestingly, we have the tower here, and this is telling me that people don't want their second chances. They give people second chances and they blow it anyways. So, for example, just we had those elections in England, the by-elections. And here, so it says a by-election is essentially a second chance, right? Everybody gets to vote again because we're voting again. And also look at that, there's the flag of England, and it certainly didn't turn out the way people thought it was. And look at the lightning on the crown. I think that we are definitely uh, Mars in Aquarius, just like you think about it, peace and healing and destruction and second chances. Like you look at these cards and you would say, if somebody got these cards in their reading, I'm going to say that, they have a chance, a second chance at healing, but something else would happen. So perhaps they have cancer, but they fall and break their leg. I'm not kidding you, right? Because you're getting a second chance, you're healing from your cancer, you're feeling really good, and along comes Mars, and you trip and fall and you break your ankle. Right back to square one. So I think there's something like that going on in the world. I think that and this could even be the announcement, the wake up call around all the Jeffrey Epstein stuff and how destructive It really is. And people just want hope and healing. Um, I'm going to say that there absolutely could be something public going on with the royal family in March. Um, a crown knocked off, uh, and somebody else gets a second chance. And what it does is it brings hope and healing to the British royal family. Like if this was this way, that would perfectly explain what happened to Andrew. And that's what happened earlier in Aquarius. Because Mars is coming this way and Pluto was already there. So Mars parks itself right there. Somebody's crown got knocked off, and it's to give the royal family a second chance. And it was public, it was done publicly. But now Mars is on the other side of this. So it almost feels like, there's some, it almost gets a second chance and something else happens. Mars comes in and knocks you off your throne. Um, Mars can be a type of war. Mars can be anything martial law, military, but it also can be on a personal level, like accidents. So there could be a terrible accident coming up, and that's in a very public way. But it almost feels like in March, like we almost get to this point where we're healing and something else happens, something shocking happens. But soon Mars will be out of Pisces and, like I said, are out of Aquarius and into Pisces, and we'll be left with this for the remainder of March. And it's second chances and healing in some regards. Um, a wake up call almost, with the star card here, and it might be for people getting jobs. Um, it's definitely much more peaceful at the end of March, and people are feeling like a sigh of relief in some respects. So there we go. So there's the energies for March based on astrology and tarot. And remember, you can do this at any time for yourself, like on your birthday. You can just go to astro.com, put in your birthday, and make sure you click on transits, and then find all the cards what that match up with it, and then you can almost do yourself a reading for the year, because that's when it's baked in on that day, to use a term Lori Lothian uses. So March 1st, those planets, that's the general color for the whole month, just like your birthday is the personality of you throughout your whole life. So that's the birthday of the month of March 2026. And that's what we can watch until April 1st, 2026. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I sure hope you're learning from this. I really enjoy being teaching tarot, and I have a big announcement of that coming up soon too. I think a lot of you will really enjoy that. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.